What's in the cookie jar? Let's find out. It looks so good. You're definitely going to want to try this recipe. This is a thin, crisp, and delicious ginger snap. This is the thinnest cookie I think I've ever made, and it is really good. Let's get started. Welcome to Cedarcroft. Today we're going to be making crispy ginger snap cookies. These are one of my favorite cookies. I do like the crispy kind. I just really like that little snap that you get. So let's get started. This cookie recipe will make about 48 cookies, and it's super easy. The first thing you do is you take 1.5 sticks of butter, softened butter. Put that in your dish. There you go. And you take 3/4 cup of sugar. And 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. You can use light or dark. And you are going to mix that up until it gets light and fluffy. The sugars and the butter have come together. You're going to add 1 egg. That looks really pretty. Then we're going to take 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and what I'm going to do is actually make sure that it's not clumpy, and it's not. I'm going to put it in the top of my flour and kind of let that get in there a little bit. There we go. Okay. It calls for 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 2 teaspoons of fresh grated ginger, which I did not have, so I did not include, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. So that's what I've got in here. And I am going to put that in the top of the flour. And I am going to use a little whisk and just whisk that in with the flour. Okay, so that's good. And so that is ready. Before we add the flour, we are going to add 1/3 cup of molasses. We want to make sure that we get all of that molasses in there. That is going to make this cookie delicious. The last thing we're going to add is our flour mixture with all of the lovely, lovely spices. I learned my lesson, and we are going to put this lid on. Oh, yes, we are. All right, so what we're going to do is line a baking sheet with parchment paper and take about 1/3 cup of sugar, more or less, and we're going to put the sugar in a bowl. We're going to take a cookie scoop or just take a tablespoon, and we're going to scoop out some cookie batter. We're going to put that in the sugar, roll it in a little ball, and then roll that in the sugar. Okay, so I got 12 cookies on each pan. That's 24 cookies, and I don't have even half of the dough. I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to be able to get 3 pans out of that dough, and that's using a 1.5 tablespoon cookie scoop. So now it's time to get them in the oven. We're going to bake them at 350. It says for 15 minutes or until they start crackling on the top, and it says your cookies should not look wet when you bring them out. So they should look super dry and crackly. So let's get them in the oven. The first 2 pans of cookies took exactly 15 minutes to bake. I simply slid the parchment paper onto the cooling rack, since you weren't supposed to move the cookies for 7 minutes. And I found out why, because they are very pliable at first. Now, as you can see here, no sound. What happened? We tasted the cookies. They were really good. Delicious, but no sound. So we did a second taste test. Here it comes. So yesterday when we filmed the Gingersnap cookie, at the very end when we did our taste test, no sound. So today we're going to taste test a cookie, half a cookie, together and let you know what we think. It has a great flavor. Is this the thinnest cookie you've ever seen?
Yeah.
And yet, it's got a little bit of crisp to it. It has a lot of flavor. Yesterday, I have to say, yesterday when I tasted it, I didn't get this much flavor. There's more flavor in it today.
I told you it had a lot of flavor.
Yeah, you did. Mm. This is a really good cookie, and you're going to want to make it. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's a perfect recipe,
Perfect recipe.
as far as I'm concerned. I never had one this thin, but it's good.
Yeah, it's super thin, super good. I think your friends will be impressed. Give it a try. And as always, thank you for joining us here at Cedarcroft, and thank you for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And we'll see you next time on Cedarcroft.